Blessings, greetings, and welcome back. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the sweet spot. It's Making Moves Monday, and I'm hoping that you had a great weekend. I hope that you feel grounded, that you feel energized, and that you feel ready to take on the week. Because today, we're kicking off this week with something bold here on the sweet spot. After all, it's Making Moves Monday. And on Making Moves Monday, we always have a new topic. And I want to thank Darcel, my wife, for giving me yet another amazing topic. This one is called Hidden Revelations. This whole week, we're going to be dealing with hidden revelations here on the sweet spot, where science and soul meet. Because sometimes the truths that we don't see might be the exact thing that we're missing and that we need to go to our next level. I'm Dr. Derek Sweet. I'm a board certified psychiatrist, as you know. I specialize in high performance, as I'm sure you know. But more than that, I'm someone who believes that we can all get to our next level if we pay attention, move in awareness, and trust the bigger picture. I'm all about that next level, and I love going on this journey with you. So let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like there's more inside of you, but you just can't quite reach it? Like you're carrying power, answers, and purpose, but it's just out of focus. Or maybe you're looking for an answer. You're looking for a solution. You need revelation, but it's not coming. Sometimes you feel stuck. I know I have. I felt stuck somewhere and I can't figure out how can I get the answer to this, or what is the next move I need to make. That right there, that is the tension between what's hidden and what's ready to be revealed. And this is not just some poetic philosophical thing. We've all been here. As you know, on the sweet spot, we love neuroscience. And I'm going to tell you, this tension between what's hidden in your life and what needs to be revealed, that's neurological too. They call it perceptual insight. Those aha moments. Those aha moments are driven by the brain trying to make connections. The brain is always trying to figure it out. And there are three brain regions that I'm going to mention very briefly: the anterior cingulate cortex, the prefrontal cortex, and the default mode network. This is not a test. This is not about neuroscience. I just want you to know that there are parts of your brain that always tries to figure things out. So that anterior cingulate cortex, that's the part that detects conflict in your old way of thinking. It's alive and it's well, and it's looking for that. Your prefrontal cortex, well, you already know about that because here on the sweet spot, we talk about that almost every day. The PFC, the prefrontal cortex, is your brain's CEO, and it helps you think through things, make decisions. It sometimes helps you to reframe something that you thought was true, but wasn't true. That's your prefrontal cortex saying, well, that was wrong. And then the default mode network, the DMN. That's the part of the brain that connects past, present, and future, processing your sense of identity and memory and meaning. Listen, when these three brain structures in your brain, listening to me right now, align, you don't just learn, you see things differently. When you see things differently, you move differently, you act differently, right? You have a new revelation. Suddenly the hidden revelation comes to fruition and you're doing things differently. That's because your ACC, your prefrontal cortex, and your default mode network, they've aligned and you're seeing it. Wow. So why does this matter? Because if you can't see the barrier, my friend, you'll keep bumping into it. Revelation is the flashlight that helps us stop stumbling and bumbling, like War Cry Fraser says. We don't want to keep stumbling and bumbling. We need the flashlight, and that flashlight is revelation. Because listen, you've got to have a good alignment. You have to have good vision. You have to see it before you can heal it, address it, fix it. And of course, here on the sweet spot, we don't just say, all right, this is a neuroscientific thing. Yes, we need brain alignment and our brains need to be functional, but the ancient wisdom also guides us here on the sweet spot. And the scripture puts it this way in Ephesians: I pray that the eyes of your heart may be enlightened. Now, that's not just the eyes in your head. It said the eyes of your heart. What in the world are these ancient scripture writers talking about here in Ephesians? The eyes of your heart? Well, look, it appears that the ancients understood what science is now proving. Science now tells us that your heart has neurons, like brain cells in a way, over 40,000 of them. Science is telling us that the heart can think, it can feel, and it can guide. Well, the ancient scripture writers, the biblical folks, they knew that long time ago. So when Paul talks about enlightened heart eyes, he's saying there's a deeper kind of vision, one that goes beyond what your eyes see, one that goes beyond logic. The heart can feel. You ever been in a situation where your eyes are seeing one thing, your brain is telling you one thing, but in your heart, you know that you know that you know it's something else? Have you ever felt something before you could even explain it? That's what I'm talking about. That's that heart thinking. The heart's giving you a hidden revelation. Or have you ever had peace about something that was really tough, like a really tough decision, or something that didn't make sense on paper, but your heart was good? You had peace in your heart. That's your heart knowing something your mind hasn't caught up to yet. That's a hidden revelation. James Baldwin, celebrated author, put it this way: nothing can be changed until it is faced. Let's unpack that. Why would he say that? That is a heart-brain-mind connection statement. Nothing can be changed until it is faced. Facing something means dragging it out of hiding into the light so that you can see it, so that your mind, your brain, and your heart can begin to tackle it. In psychology, we call this emotional insight, when you stop intellectualizing and start internalizing the truth. When you start doing that kind of thing, you quiet the brain's threat detection center. And I know those of you who are sweet spotters and have been listening to this podcast for quite some time, I could see you right now saying, oh yeah, the amygdala. That's right. The amygdala is the brain's threat detection center. It's not a bad thing. It just detects threats all day long. And if you let this thing go wild, it can decrease your performance. It could make you anxious. It could make you nervous. So when you start beginning to drag things into the light and beginning to confront things and starting to have them be revealed to you so that you can deal with them, you quiet the threat detection center. Because the other thing is, if you don't do that and you kind of hide from it, the threat detection center detects that you have a problem and that you're scared of something, and it starts whispering more catastrophic outcomes to you. And that's why fear builds on fear and you get more paralyzed. I'm sure that makes sense. So what you want is to do what James Baldwin said here. Nothing can be changed until it's faced. You can't break a pattern if you won't name it or you won't face it. You can't overcome what you pretend isn't there. So that's another hidden revelation, right? Avoiding discomfort keeps you stuck. Facing it unlocks your freedom. I don't know about you, but there have been times in my life where I've tried to avoid the discomfort, where I've tried to pretend I'm not seeing it. It doesn't work. Trust me. Take it from me. It just doesn't work. It might work for a little while, but it really doesn't work in the long run. And Kendrick Lamar gave us this gem. He gave us this gem. When you're dealing with issues, when you're beginning to tackle things, if you're going to, he put it this way, let me put it in his words. If I'm going to tell a real story, I'm going to start with my name. That's another hidden revelation, identity revelation. That's sometimes the first move you have to make. It's saying, before I perform, before I speak, before I act, I've got to know who I am. Because when you reclaim your story, there's another brain region called the hippocampus that can reprocess the past and really help you connect some dots. And your PFC, your prefrontal cortex, it will literally work with what you are trying to do by getting this revelation in front of you to help you redesign the future or tackle it. Stop trying to fit in someone else's mold is what this is really talking about at the end of the day. If you're going to tell your real story, start with your name. Don't use somebody else's approach. Don't walk in somebody else's name. Your story, even the hard parts, is the blueprint for your breakthrough. You don't need to find your power. You need to remember your name. That's a hidden revelation. And names are important. There's a reason that we're saying start with your name. Names are more than labels. They're the sources of our own identity. They're the sources of our connection. Our name is tied into what motivates us. Starting with your name is a way to claim your story, focus your energy, and remind yourself and others that you have the strength and the right to be where you are. Absolutely. So when you face an adversity or you need motivation, starting with your name is the grounding thing that you can do. That's the hidden revelation. Before you make your move, know your name. Say your name. It's a reminder that your identity, your values, and your capacities are all yours and available to you so that you can overcome anything, because greater is the thing in you than whatever is in the world. You know, that's why athletes, performers, and leaders often repeat their own names. Or you'll notice when you're at a game or a performance, sometimes the audience will scream the name out of the person. It activates a sense of personal power and belonging when you say your name. I'm going to challenge you to say your name right now. 3 times. I'm going to wait. Say it. Perfect. You don't need to find your power. You need to remember your name. I want that truth to echo in you today on Making Moves Monday. Not just as a quote, but as a tool. Because we've got to bring things into the light. We've got to take these hidden revelations and make them known to us. Because what stays hidden stays heavy. When you ignore fear, a need, or when you ignore what you really want to do in life, it weighs on you. It weighs you down. The first thing you've got to do is name what's going on. That's your first act of release. That's your first move. It's Making Moves Monday. I'm telling you, the hidden revelation for Making Moves Monday today is you've got to step back, take a deep breath, and name it. What's going on here? Give it a name. Because once you can see it, once you drag it into the light, seeing is healing. Seeing is healing. You don't have to fix everything today. You just have to face it. Once you face it, once you see it and you face it, that's where the healing begins. That's where the solution begins, right? Is you've got to see it and name it. Your next level won't come from the outside. It's waiting to be revealed inside of you. You don't need another guru or green light. You don't need another podcast. You just need awareness. You need clarity. It's already in you. It's already in you, my friend. You've got to go to that mirror. This is an exercise we give many performers. Go to the mirror in the morning when you wake up. First thing, when you look into that mirror and you see you looking at you, you call your name. You call your name and you say, Derek, I love you. You say, Jean, I love you. You say, Darcel, I love you. You say, Andre, I love you. You say, Denzel, I love you. You choose a name. What's your name? And you say, I love you. And you say it 5 or 10 times before your day gets started. You'd be surprised at how that can change your entire day. It tells you that you're grounded. It tells you that you have ownership of this name and that you are powerful and ready to take on anything that comes. That's the idea, because there's always something bubbling up inside of you. There's something deep inside of you that's hidden and needs to be revealed. And remember this, my friend, the truth doesn't shout, it whispers, and then it works. Revelation rarely shows up in my experience as noise. It shows up as a nudge. Don't ignore the quiet voice within. That's often the realest voice, the realest one. So let's bring it back to Making Moves Monday. Here's the hidden revelation for today, and then we're out. The fear that we experience before the move is often louder than the move itself. A lot of times, it's not perfection that's holding you back, it's hesitation. We're always finding a reason to hesitate before we take that big move. Think about it this way. You're standing in front of a pool, right? Or at the edge of a pool, and you have to go in. But what do? If you're like me, you're like, oh my God, is the water too cold? Is this going to be deep? Or should I put my toe in? It's like I'm analyzing the jump. I'm trying to figure out wind trajectory, all of that, just because I kind of don't know if I jump in what it's going to be like. Guess what? The water is fine. The water is not the problem. The clarity is in the movement, in the action. The clarity is in jumping in. It's about not waiting. It's about just taking the jump. Behavioral science calls this activation energy. It's kind of like the resistance you feel before doing something important. But I'll tell you, even if you took one tiny action and you jump in, the water is fine. And you are so much better for having acted, taking an action, making the move. But look, even in the tiniest action that you take, the tiniest move that you make, you can break the tension that's holding you back. Small steps can change your mental chemistry. Believe me when I tell you that. It's about taking that first move, making the first step. So here's your practical tool for today. Take 60 seconds and ask yourself, where am I standing on the edge of some kind of a pool and I'm not jumping in and the water's actually fine? What lie am I believing about this moment? What small, imperfect move can I make right now that's going to help me advance myself and get out of this situation or address this issue? And then, my friend, make that move. Even if it's messy, even if it's shaky, even if it's imperfect, even if you are afraid, do it. Because movement reveals what the fear hides. I'll say it again. Movement will reveal what the fear is hiding. So today, don't just grind. Don't just put your head down and go through it like habit after habit. Reveal. Don't just act. Start seeing. Don't just chase the outcome. Look for the insight. and let that guide you. Trust it. Trust it. Make your move from that perspective. All right, now, thank you so much for listening. This is Dr. Derek Sweet. Oh boy, it's Making Moves Monday. We're dealing with hidden revelations. I hope you got a few today. Join me tomorrow, Take Action Tuesday, where we will tackle and uncover the hidden revelations behind decisive motion and courageous action to follow through. Until then, my friend, walk boldly, think deeply, listen inward, and do not be afraid to jump into that pool. Take the chance. Love and blessings. You've been listening to The Sweet Spot. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, if you know a friend who might benefit from understanding these hidden revelations that we're going to be tackling, feel free to share. And by now, I'm sure you've already subscribed. Okay, take care.